America yesterday, the White House deployed a weapon against the nation's most vulnerable citizens. Not a conventional weapon, something far more insidious. What drove the current administration to target Americans' elderly with a calculated campaign of fear? What are they so desperate to protect that they would weaponize Social Security concerns? Of course, I kid. But tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on what may be the most cynical political manipulation in recent memory. Wow. Joe Biden terrifying grandparents across America based on claims that simply don't align with reality? What? Yes, this is breaking through, but what Joe Biden said will infuriate you. Now, speaking of aging, here's something that Biden's team doesn't want seniors to know about. A groundbreaking 2024 study revealed that the right collagen supplement can dramatically transform aging skin. Women taking daily collagen reported significantly fewer wrinkles and much firmer skin, but not all collagen is created equal. That's why I recommend this scientifically backed multi-collagen formula of 5 key types from 4 different sources, specifically designed to reduce wrinkles, improve elasticity, and enhance hydration at the cellular level. Right now, viewers of the raw feed can get 51% off during this special promotion at healthwithgary.com. Take control of your aging process naturally. It's linked down below. Okay, so what happened? Joe Biden decided to climb out of his basement, and Fox News decided to cut into that speech last night, calling out his lies about Trump ending Social Security, and they did it live. Watch this.
Imagine the panic that causes. If you're a retiree living alone, with only Social Security to depend upon. So now people are overwhelming the phone lines.
President Biden in Chicago talking about Social Security there, saying the administration has dismantled Social Security. They have gotten rid of a number of employees, thousands of them in the Social Security Administration. But in that interview with Elon Musk and his Doge team, they say they're going after waste, fraud, and abuse in Social Security. And also President Trump has said that he will not touch benefits. In fact, Elon Musk pledging that benefits will be protected more by what they're doing. Obviously, Democrats and President Biden taking the opposite approach here and talking about the warnings, especially for those concerned about Social Security. These remarks, by the way, we'll have a panel discussion about more of the comments a little bit later in the show. The remarks come amid continuing questions about President Biden's mental capacity while he was serving in the Oval Office, and reports of myriad problems and ultimately the unsuccessful campaign of Kamala Harris. Senior national correspondent Aisha.
Joe Biden. Okay, let's continue. We've got the thread here. Sleepy Biden just staged a desperate propaganda attack against President Trump with blatant lies about Social Security. The deep state puppet is spreading fear among seniors to protect the globalist agenda. Spread the truth now. Biden's billionaire commerce secretary exposed, showing how the elites view your struggles. His mother-in-law wouldn't complain about missing checks because she's rich. Meanwhile, they falsely claim Trump will cut your benefits.
When he talked about the possibility of Social Security checks not going out this month, he shrugged it off. Here's what he said. He said his 94-year-old mother-in-law wouldn't complain, wouldn't bother her. She's probably a lovely woman. No kidding. Her son-in-law is a billionaire. What about that 94-year-old mother living all by herself? Doesn't have a billionaire in the family. All the retirees who depend on that monthly check to feed themselves. All those people with disabilities have no other source. What about all those people?
Yeah, Joe Biden, man, you're already putting me to sleep. Projection alert. Biden falsely claims Trump wants $5 trillion in tax cuts for the rich, paid for by your Social Security. Classic deep state tactic. Accuse your enemy of what you're doing. The globalists are the ones robbing Social Security blind.
And keep it. Why do they want to rob it? In order to deliver huge tax cuts to billionaires and big corporations and keep it going. They want to make permanent the 2017 tax cuts, which overwhelmingly benefited the wealthiest Americans and the biggest corporations. That's going to cost $5 trillion. Where are they going to get $5 trillion to pay for it, other than continue to run the deficit up? Well, what do they always do? By running up the national debt, number one, and then by taking the money from someplace else. What are the two big pots of money out there in raw numbers? Social Security and Medicaid. Well, from other programs people rely on and have paid into. Republicans, these guys are willing to hurt the middle class and the working class in order to deliver significant greater wealth to the already very wealthy. Who in the hell do they think they are? I really think just basic decency.
Basic decency. Yeah. They just found thousands and thousands of people who shouldn't be on Social Security receiving checks. Imagine what happens when you purge those numbers. How much money are you going to save, Joe? Biden's fear-mongering about devastating Social Security cuts is psychological warfare on our seniors. Trump has repeatedly promised to protect these benefits, but the lying media won't report it. They're creating mass panic to control.
In a way, it'd be... Imagine if you're somebody who's been struggling your whole life. You literally count on Social Security to buy your food.
Wow.
Just to get by.
Joe Biden will never have to worry about that, right?
Hear the threats, what may happen. Many of these beneficiaries, that's their only income. If they were cut or taken away, it'd be devastating. Devastating for millions of people. And the psychological pressure we put people under by having...
The psychological pressure that you put people under, Joe, by spreading your lies.
This debate.
Goodness.
It's absolutely devastating. But now, for the first time ever, that might change. It would be calamity.
Oh, shut up. Biden claims Social Security is a sacred promise while his administration deliberately understaffed it to create chaos. Now he blames Trump for the problems that he created.
73, and Social Security is more than a government program. It's a sacred promise. We made it a sacred promise. 73 million Americans receive Social Security.
Joe's getting angry, guys. He's getting angry. The amphetamines are kicking in.
From their first paycheck for their entire life, they pay into Social Security. In return, they count on Social Security to be for them when they're going to need it. Folks must never, ever betray that trust or turn our backs on that obligation. That's why during my presidency, we protected Social Security and made it stronger. Martin, the governor, can tell you. We came into office, Social Security Administration had its lowest staffing, she referenced it, lowest staffing levels in 50 years. And demand was going through the roof because of my generation and the baby boom generation reaching the retirement age.
Okay, Joe. Biden invokes his staged childhood racial awakening story again, using race to divide Americans while lying about Trump cutting Social Security.
I remember pulling into the parking lot, and I had never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time and I was only going in fourth grade.
Are we gonna get a corn pop cameo now?
And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by. They never turned right to go to Claymont High School. I wondered why. Asked my mom, why? So in Delaware, they're not allowed to go to school, in public school, with white kids, honey. That sparked my sense of outrage as a kid, just like it does. And these young kids right here can tell you things affect them when they learn about something that's really just unfair and unjust.
Kind of like your crime bill? Biden wants seniors to not sleep at night with fear-mongering about Trump cutting benefits.
Every 5 years, and then wait around and be... no. will not go further or get in trouble, but look, folks, you can imagine the chaos it would have charged. Every 5 years, Congress is going to step up. Imagine this Congress stepping up. They threatened to raise the retirement age as well. Now, that might not be a hardship for someone working in a comfortable job. But if you're on your feet all day, you're doing manual labor all day, you're working with a disability, it's a very different matter. And then they even tried to face forced cuts on Social Security during the negotiation of the debt ceiling.
Oh, man, this guy's put me to sleep, man. I don't even want to subject you guys to the rest of these clips we have here. Like, seriously, I'm not even going to do it. But we do have something that's not Joe Biden. It's Representative Ratskin. Biden claims he is 100% certain Elon Musk is coming for Social Security, but it's pure fiction from the deep state.
And we don't know. I understand where you're arguing on the facts with this. That's why I don't understand the motivation behind former President Biden coming out and saying Trump's coming for your Social Security. When they ask him about the benefit structure for any of the entitlements, he says, I'm not going to touch it. And we don't know about anything in the budget negotiation where they want to change the benefit structure. Why scare people with he's coming for your Social Security?
Well, you know, I can't say for sure about Donald Trump, but I'll tell you with 100% certainty, Elon Musk is coming for your Social Security. The guy called it the greatest Ponzi scheme in the history of the world. He clearly wants to take down Social Security. They've already sacked 7,000 workers at Social Security. It's impossible to get through on the phones. They tell you, well, just go to the offices, but they're trying to close dozens of Social Security offices around the country. So that's not made up. That's just reality. They're proud of that. So Donald Trump seems to have savvier political instincts about Social Security than Elon Musk and the right wing, which has been trying to privatize it for decades. But I'm telling you right now, and I'm willing to stand on this, your Social Security is not safe with these people in charge of the government.
It's never been safe with you in charge. Even Democrats admit Biden's message fell on deaf ears. His own party is asking, why is he speaking? Nobody believes his lies about Trump cutting Social Security. Listen.
On deaf ears. What did you think of President Biden making his witness and the message that they are coming for your Social Security?
Waste of time. Fell on deaf ears. I watched about 5 minutes of it. I didn't really have much interest in it because he's no longer the president. When he was the president, there were some things that he did, like opening the borders, which were horrendous and obviously debilitating to this nation. And because of it, that accentuated the point that he needed to go. And once he saw that, the man that once promised to be a transitional president decided that he wanted to stay and ultimately had to be forced out. And so when those kind of things happen, clearly a lot of what you have to say is falling on deaf ears, particularly when all you're doing is regurgitating things that you said in the past, not just when you were president, but when you were a candidate for the presidency before you ultimately won the election in 2020. It's not to say that he's completely right or wrong. Is to simply say, unfortunately, because of the things that have transpired over the last several years, a lot of people weren't too interested in hearing from him. Think about it. Not even the Democrats themselves appeared happy that he was coming out and giving some kind of speech. Rather, there were a plethora of them asking the question, why, for what possible purpose did it serve? And certainly they're asking themselves now after seeing him speak.
What did you...
Yeah, falling on deaf ears. That's exactly what happened. And let's see if there's any more on this. Biden randomly starts screaming in his first speech since leaving office.
There's hardly any. I remember pulling into the parking lot, and I had never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time I was only going in the 4th grade.
Man, I want to hear the corn pop speech again. Anyway, the timing here is no accident. As Trump's popularity surges and the Biden legacy collapses, they're deploying their final weapon, fear. Scare grandma into thinking her Social Security check will vanish despite his repeated promises to protect it. Meanwhile, Biden admitted that under his own leadership, Social Security is projected to run out of money by 2033. Yet instead of solutions, he offered scapegoats. Instead of leadership, he delivered panic. This brings us to a crucial question every American needs to consider. And this is for the comments. When a government deliberately terrifies its elderly citizens with falsehoods for political gain, have they crossed the line from politics into elder abuse? And shouldn't we demand better from those who claim to serve the public? Drop a comment below. And get your next news gear in the merch shop and show where you stand against fear-mongering like that from Joe Biden. It's linked down below at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.